I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. So I just watched this video from this guy talking about 3 lazy ways to make $250 a day online, and I got to be honest with you, when I first saw that headline, my brain immediately went to the scam alarm. I've been there, man. I was 22 years old, working a job I hated, barely scraping by, and every single video I watched about making money online just felt like someone trying to sell me something I couldn't afford. But here's the thing, after I actually sat down and thought about what he was saying, I realized this guy might actually be onto something, not because he is promising some magical system, but because he is talking about real work that real people are doing right now. And I know because I've been in the trenches myself trying to figure this stuff out. Let me give you some context about who I am and why you should even listen to me. I am not some millionaire guru. I am not some finance expert with a degree from Harvard. I am just a regular guy who spent his early 20s being an absolute idiot with money. I was the guy buying stuff on credit I couldn't afford. I was the guy eating out every single day because cooking felt like too much effort. I was the guy who looked at his bank account at the end of the month and wondered where the hell all his money went. Sound familiar? I thought so. The turning point for me came when I was about 23. I had about $3,000 in credit card debt, which I know isn't huge compared to some people, but when you are making $35,000 a year and living in a city that feels like it is way too expensive, that $3,000 felt like a mountain. I remember sitting on my couch one night eating instant ramen because that is all I could afford, and I just thought to myself, man, there has to be a better way. That is when I started teaching myself about personal finance, about budgeting, about saving, and eventually about ways to make money that didn't require me to work a second job I hated. So when I came across this video about 3 lazy ways to make money online, I was skeptical, but I was also curious. The guy breaks it down into 3 methods: AI consulting, faceless content, repurposing, and low-ticket digital products. And I want to give you my honest take on each one from the perspective of someone who has actually been broke and is still just trying to figure life out like everyone else. First up is AI consulting. Now, when I first heard that, I thought, oh great, another tech bro telling me I need to learn some complicated coding language, but that is not what this is about at all. The idea is simple. Businesses, especially small local businesses, are drowning in AI tools. They hear about ChatGPT and Claude and Zapier and all these integrations, and they know they should be using them, but they have no freaking idea how. They busy running their businesses, they dealing with customers and employees and payroll and all the other stress that comes with being a business owner. They don't have time to sit down and figure out how to properly prompt an AI tool to write their emails or automate their lead follow-up. And here's the part that really hit home for me. You don't need to be some kind of tech wizard to do this. I am not a programmer. I've never written a line of code in my life. But I've learned how to use these tools because I am curious and because I don't want to be left behind, and that is all it takes. Honestly, some guy in the video said he knows someone making $12,000 a month just teaching people how to write better GPT prompts. $12,000, that is more than I used to make in 4 months at my old job. And this guy is some genius. He just took the time to learn something that most people are too busy or too lazy to learn themselves. So let me break down how I would actually do this if I was starting from zero today. First, I would pick a niche. And by niche, I mean a specific type of business I want to help. I would try to help everyone, because that is how you end up helping no one. I'd pick something like local real estate agents or small dental offices or independent restaurants. These are businesses that have money to spend on things that save them time, but they don't have tech departments. They don't have it, guys. They just trying to survive and grow. Next, I would spend maybe a week just learning the basics. YouTube is your best friend here. You can find free tutorials on literally everything from how to set up an automated email response system to how to connect a CRM to a chatbot. You don't need to be an expert, you just need to know a little bit more than the person you are selling to, and trust me, most business owners know absolutely nothing about this stuff. So even a basic understanding makes you look like a genius. Then I would reach out to these businesses. And I wouldn't start by trying to sell them something. I'd offer a free trial. Hey, I can automate one process for you for free. Let me show you what is possible. You set up something simple like an automated response for new customer inquiries or a system that sends follow-up emails after a service is completed. You show them how much time it saves. And then you say, look, if you want more of this, I can either charge you hourly to show you how to do it yourself, or you can put me on a monthly retainer and I'll handle it all for you. The pricing is flexible, but I start around $1,500 to $2,000 per project, or maybe $1,000 a month on a retainer. You only need 3 to 5 clients to hit that $250 a day mark. And honestly, once you start getting results for people, word spreads fast. Business owners talk to each other. They in the same networking groups, going to the same events. If you make one real estate agent happy, that agent is going to tell 5 other agents about you. Now, here's the thing I really appreciated about this method. It is not about pretending to be some AI guru or expert. It is just about being the person who makes AI simple for people who don't have time for it. That is a valuable service. And it is something almost anyone can do if they're willing to put in a little bit of upfront learning. The second method is faceless content repurposing. Now this one I was really curious about because I've always been intimidated by the idea of putting my face on camera. I mean, look at me, I am just some regular dude. I don't have a perfect YouTube face or some charismatic personality. The thought of building a personal brand from scratch sounds exhausting, honestly. So the idea that you can make money creating content without ever showing your face really appealed to me. The concept is pretty straightforward. You find content that is already performing well online, whether it is a long-form YouTube video, a podcast episode, or even an old viral clip, and you repurpose it into new formats. You take a 20-minute podcast and turn it into 10 short clips for TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. You take an old video about business advice and update the graphics and music and post it again. The key is that you are not creating from scratch. You are taking proven content that already worked and giving it a second life for a new audience. There is a platform called WAP that apparently works with YouTube to let you monetize this kind of content on a pay per volt IEW basis. I haven't used it myself, but the guy in the video says rates vary from about $2 to $8 per thousand views. If you can get 50,000 views a day across all your repurposed content, which honestly sounds very doable once you have a system in place, you are looking at $100 to $400 a day just from that program alone. Then you add your own monetization from the platforms themselves, and suddenly $250 a day becomes the floor, not the ceiling. What I love about this method is how low the barrier to entry is. You don't need to be a video editor. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need to be charismatic on camera. You just need to be good at finding content that works and repackaging it in a way that feels fresh. There are guys apparently making 10 to 20 grand a month just repurposing content from creators like Alex Hormozi or Iman Godzi or any of those business guys. Even if you don't fully agree with what they're reselling, their educational content is still valuable and people will pay to get it in front of more eyes. My personal strategy if I was doing this would be to focus on evergreen content. Stuff that is as relevant today as it was 3 years ago. Business advice, productivity tips, life hacks, personal finance fundamentals. That kind of content doesn't age, and people are always looking for it. I find videos from 2 or 3 years ago that were massive hits but have been forgotten by the algorithm, and I repackage them with better graphics, maybe updated stats, and post them everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, wherever people consume short-form content. The other angle here is that you can go directly to creators and offer your services. Hey, I just made 15 extra pieces of content for you for free. Here is what I did. If you want more where that came from, here is my rate. Most creators are too busy making their main content to worry about repurposing it for every platform. They're happy to pay someone else to handle that. And once you have a few clients, you can basically automate the whole thing and collect checks every month. This method feels almost too easy, but when I really thought about it, I realized it is just smart. Most content has a shelf life of like 2 days on the internet. After that, it is basically dead. But that content still has value. There are people who never saw it the first time. By repurposing it, you are bringing it back to life for a new audience and getting paid for it. That is not a scam, that is just being efficient with existing resources. The third method is low-ticket digital products. Now this one I have mixed feelings about only because I think it requires a little more upfront work than the other two, but the potential is still huge. The idea is pretty simple. You create cheap digital products like PDF guides, checklists, or simple courses and sell them for under $100. The key is you don't come up with the product idea from scratch. You use the Facebook ads library or Meta ads library to find products that are already selling like crazy. The Facebook ads library is completely free, and it is basically a database of every ad currently running on Facebook and Instagram. You can see what ads have been running for months, which means they are profitable. You can study the ad copy, the landing page, the email sequences, everything. These are million-dollar businesses showing you exactly what works, and instead of reinventing the wheel, you just study their structure and create your own version. Let me be really clear about something because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. You are not stealing. You are not copying word for word. That is plagiarism, and it is wrong. What you are doing is studying what works and creating your own unique product using the same principles. If someone is selling a 30-day productivity challenge for $47, you create a 21-day focus formula for $37. Same concept, different packaging, different angle, different voice. You use AI tools like Claude to help you write your copy in Canva to create your designs, but everything you put out should be your own. The beauty of low-ticket products is speed. You can go from idea to launch in a week. Day 1, research the funnels and pick your angle. Day 2 and 3, create your product, which might just be a simple PDF guide or a checklist or a short video course. Day 4 and 5, build your landing page and set up your payment system. Day 6 and 7, launch and start driving traffic. The price point should be between $19 and $97. Under $100 is a psychological sweet spot. People feel comfortable spending that amount without overthinking it. Once you find a winner, you can scale like crazy. Optimize your ads, build email sequences, create upsells, find better traffic sources. One good low-ticket product can easily do $300 or more per Dalton Y once it is dialed in. And the best part is you are selling something that costs you almost nothing to produce. Your margins are incredible. Now here's my honest take on all 3 of these methods after really thinking about them. They all have one thing in common. The work is front-loaded. You have to put in effort at the beginning to set things up. But once the system is running, it requires way less maintenance. That is the kind of money making I can get behind. I've never been a fan of trading time for money. Working a 9 to 5 where you have to show up every single day and put in the hours just to get paid the same amount no matter what. That is the old way. These methods let you build something that keeps working for you even when you are not actively grinding. The other thing I like about these methods is that they don't require special skills or expensive courses. You can learn everything you need from YouTube and free resources. That is how I learned most of what I know about personal finance and making money online. I didn't pay for some fancy course. I just consumed content, asked questions, and tried stuff. Some of it worked and a lot of it didn't. But I learned more from my failures than my successes. Honestly, if I was sitting here at 22 again with $3,000 in credit card debt and no direction, I would pick one of these 3 methods and go all in for 90 days. Not all 3 at once, because that is how you spread yourself too thin and end up doing nothing well. Just one. ID. Give it real effort for 3 months. And if it was working, ID pivot to another one. But I wouldn't quit. That is the key. Most people try something for a week or two, and when they don't see immediate results, they give up and go back to scrolling on their phones, wondering why everyone else is successful. I want to share a quick personal story here because I think it matters. When I first started trying to get my finances together, I didn't see results for months. I was still broke. I was still making dumb mistakes. I remember one month I tried to save aggressively and then my car needed a $1,000 repair and I just felt like giving up, but I didn't. I kept going, I kept learning, and slowly things started to change. I paid off my debt, I built up an emergency fund, I started investing small amounts, and now at 27, I am in a completely different place than I was at 22. Not because I am special, but because I refuse to quit. The same applies to these money-making methods. You are not going to hit $250 a day in your first week. You might not even hit it in your first month, but if you stay consistent and keep learning and keep improving, you will get there. And once you do, everything changes. You have cash flow, you have options, you have the freedom to make choices based on what you want instead of what you need to survive. Let me also address something that I think is really important. None of these methods are get-rich-quick schemes. If that is what you are looking for, this video is not for you. These are get-rich-efficient schemes, as the guy in the original video said. There is a big difference. Get rich quick is about luck and hype and hoping something blows up. Get rich efficient is about putting in smart upfront work and then letting systems do the heavy lifting. It is about being strategic instead of just being busy. And here's the part that really resonated with me. The end game shouldn't just be making $250 a day. That is the starting point. Once you have consistent cash flow, you reinvest it into building something bigger, something that scales beyond you. For me, that is the whole point of financial freedom. It is not about having a ton of money sitting in the bank. It is about having the resources to build the life you actually want. So if I was doing the AI consulting route, I would use the cash flow to eventually build an agency where I hire other people to do the work and I focus on sales and systems. If I was doing the content repurposing route, I would scale it into a media agency handling content for multiple creators. If I was doing the digital products route, I would build a funnel that sells higher ticket offers to the people who buy my low ticket products. Every method has a path to something bigger. You just have to start somewhere. I also want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is mindset, because I think that is actually the biggest barrier for most people. When I was broke, I had a broke mindset. I thought money was hard to make. I thought I didn't have the skills. I thought successful people were just lucky or born into the right circumstances, and all of that was just me making excuses for staying comfortable. The truth is, making money online is not that complicated. It is just uncomfortable at first because you have to learn new things and put yourself out there and risk failure. But discomfort is temporary, regret is forever. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these 3 methods. Just one. Spend this week researching it, learn everything you can. Then next week start doing it. Take one small action every single day. It does have to be big, it just has to be consistent, and do that for 90 days.